Welcome back to the New Testament in a year. We're in Acts 24, and I've got to admit that I struggle with this part of Acts. I struggle with it because it doesn't feel very Acts. It's not very actiony. It's this kind of, we're going over the same ground, people putting false accusations against Paul, sometimes getting the chance to defend himself, but his defense just goes on deaf ears. Every time the stuff that Paul says is of course right, when he's like, you know, where are the people that actually should be accusing me? Where are they in this court? The ones that have got the complaint against me, and all sorts of other things. So he speaks the truth, but it just seems so futile, and he's held in prison, and you know, just for years and years, it goes on, like 2 years, and he just gets called back and forth to Felix, who kind of, they have these conversations about Jesus that seem to go nowhere. And it's like, where have the early chapters of Acts gone, when it was all action, when it was you know, like this constant God on the move, God's people on the move with him, the Spirit so clearly evident, and there's healings and miraculous salvations by the hundreds and even thousands. And where have they gone? Where all we've got is these words, and this it just feels stuck. And I wonder if I feel a bit frustrated by Acts at this point. I imagine that's nothing compared to how Paul felt. This is his life. He had this such a clear calling from Jesus to take the gospel, and now he's just stuck, and it just seems like not much is happening. I wonder what was going through his head in these years. I wonder what was going on. But I think that in our own lives, these seasons of frustration and seasons where it seems like not very much is happening, they're probably more common than the seasons in our life that in some way reflect the opening chapters of Acts. You know, we're in our own way, we just know that God is on the move, we know that God is using us, we see evidence of him, we're having amazing conversations with people about Jesus, whatever it might be. Those almost feel like moments, whereas life generally can feel a bit more like the end of Acts. And so what do we do if we don't, you know, what do we do with those seasons where it feels like we're not so much in the flow, God maybe isn't so much on the move? And I think one of the things is trusting, and I know I've spoken about this before in Bible in a Year, is this whole truth that God is doing more behind our backs than he's doing in front of our face. And that God is always on the move. God is always at work. God is always drawing people to himself. And you know, all the years that Paul was in prison, so that's where so many of his letters were written. That's where letters that we still get to feed off now. We're going to be coming on to them very soon in the New Testament in a year. All the truth, the kind of unpacking of the gospel, the encouragement, the challenges, so many of them came out of periods of imprisonment, and we get to be the benefit of that. And I think in our own lives, it's trusting that God is still at work even when it seems like he's quieter. God is still faithful even when we can't see his hand. God still has a plan even if we can't see the action. So today is a day to trust and be thankful for our God who knows his own business, and he's always at work. Have a good day. I'll see you again tomorrow. God bless.